Трябваше в сряда по-тихичко такова. Трябваше в сряда по-тихичко.
Халелуя! Слава на Бога за този чудесен ден! Радвам се, че мога да ви приветствам в Християнски Център Бургас. Бъдете изобилно благословени. Нека да се зарадваме и да хвалим и да издигаме нашият Бог. Амен! В името на Исус. Слава на Бога!
Хайде ръцете заедно за Господ Исус Христос. Тук сме само поради една причина, за да може името на Исус да бъде издигнато на високо. Тази сутрин отново, с голям ентусиазъм, ние ще издигнем нашия цар, защото Той е цар на царете, Господ на господарите и Бог на боговете. Ръцете заедно. Халелуя!
И Твоята милост е вечна. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Търси към мене. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна.
Хора от всички народи света, без поколения и до века ни хвалите. Халелуя, халелуя, ни хвалите. Ти си добър, ни хвалите. Халелуя, халелуя, ни хвалите. Ти си добър.
И нека всички кажем: Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна.
Хора от всички народи света, през поколения и до века ни хвалите. Халелуя, халелуя, ни хвалите. Ти си добър, ни хвалите. Халелуя, халелуя, ни хвалите. Ти си добър.
Ти си добър. Ти си добър. Ти си добър.
Винаги, винаги. Ти си добър, ти си добър. Винаги, винаги. Ти си добър,
Ти си добър.
ти си добър. Винаги, винаги. Ти си добър, ти си добър. Винаги, винаги. Ти си добър.
Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна. Добър си към мен. Боже, добър си и Твоята милост е вечна.
Хора от всички народи света, през поколения и до века ни хвалите. Халелуя, халелуя, ни хвалите. Ти си
небеса. Нека всичко хвали. Хвалете го слънце, луна и звезди, хвалете го вие небе и води. Нека всичко хвали. Мощна сила, мощна сила, мощна слава, мощна милост, цар на небето, мощна битка, мощна чудо, мощна визион, цар на цялата земя. Хвалете го вие небе и земя, хвалете го ангели в небеса. Нека всичко хвали.
Server URL and but we can't stream to Facebook. Max resolution is
създаването на църкви и достигането на хора чрез мисии и походите на чудесата. Изграждаме църковни сгради за ново основаните църкви и ги въвличаме в ученичество. Акцентът в тази кауза, за която днес искам да ви предизвикам, е след жетвата за спасение на души, да ни помогнете да изградим хамбари за тази жетва. Ние наричаме тези хамбари молитвени домове. Аз си мисля, че това е кауза, за която си заслужава. Искам да ти дам невероятната възможност да партнираш заедно с нас в изграждането на Божието царство. Бъди строител на царството.
As well if it's not set up as your main stream. So once you're ready to live stream, you go down and you click in the bottom right, start streaming, and that starts off your main stream. And then you can go ahead and kick off the multiple output streams by clicking start up here in the top left. Now you just need to keep in mind that each one of these streaming services has a different process on their end that you may have to use. So if you click start streaming for YouTube, it's automatically going to just start streaming. Whereas if you click the start on the Facebook one, you do have to flip over into Facebook and click go live once it starts to receive the data signal in order to go live. So just keep that in mind. You do have to go through that process on the different platforms. Now for Windows, we're going to want to right click in our taskbar and go to Task Manager, and we can go to Performance. We can see where our CPU is at to see if it's handling things, and we can go down here and check our Ethernet connection to see how we're keeping up with the live stream. And you're definitely going to want to test this.
освобождаването. Кауза, която има вечна стойност. Тук в Християнски център Бургас наш основен приоритет е основаването на църкви и достигането на хора чрез мисии и походите на чудесата. Християнски център Бургас наш основен приоритет е основаването на църкви и достигането на хора чрез мисии и походите на чудесата. Изграждаме църковни сгради за ново основаните църкви и ги въвличаме в ученичество. Акцентът в тази кауза, за която днес искам да ви предизвикам, е след жетвата за спасение на души, да ни помогнете да изградим хамбари за тази жетва. Ние наричаме тези хамбари молитвени домове. Аз си мисля, че това е кауза, за която си заслужава. Искам да ти дам невероятната възможност да партнираш заедно с нас в изграждането на Божието царство. Бъди строител на царството.
Just going to copy this exact text out of here, paste it here, and I'm going to add the .html after it because it's an HTML file, and I'm going to click apply, and there is our doc. Woo! Now we just need to drag it and move it to wherever we want it on our screen. And now we have our lower thirds installed. All we have to do now is figure out how to use it. So once we have it in here, we need to set it up. So it says here name, you just put your name or whatever you want the main text to be for your lower thirds. For info, it can be a subtext, and I'm just gonna put YouTube tools, tips, and tricks. It's kind of my little catchphrase. And then once you have all that in, you just click one of these boxes over here to the left, and it's saved into memory. So now if I turn it on, why is it red? Well, that's because you have to have the main one turned on as well, but it's still not playing. What's up with that? Well, that's because we haven't actually added it into our scene yet. So we're gonna click the plus, and we're gonna go to browser, and we'll just type in lower thirds here, and then I'm gonna click OK. And now I'm gonna select local file, and we're gonna browse to the location, animated lower thirds, and we're gonna select the browser source one here, and click open. Then I'm gonna set it up so it's the same size as my canvas, 1920 by 1080. And I'm going to go ahead and check the shutdown source when not visible and the refresh browser. I'm going to refresh the cache and delete the custom CSS and click OK, and now we are set. And there we go. It automatically starts running. And it's pretty generic. We still have the Your logo here, but it looks pretty good. Now you can see up in the top left, it's running down. Let's go ahead and add another one. And this time I want to add some logos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these logos and I'm just going to copy them, and I want to move them into our animated lower thirds logos folder. And if we paste them in there, now we're going to be able to use these logos in our lower thirds. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in my name again, and maybe we'll put it in spelled correctly. That would be best. And we'll put that little info in here once again. And I'm going to select the logo, choose an image. image, you have to go ahead and browse to that area, animated lower thirds, logos, and I'm gonna select this logo here and click open and okay, and there we go. And now when you're done, you just click the little box to add an inference of this lower third, and it adds it. Now just so you know, if you change anything, you've got to delete it and re-add it, which is why I showed you how to delete it before. Because once you click that little number button, that's locked in. That's the way it's gonna look. So what else can we do with this? Well, we can go into the little plus here and we can change all kinds of settings. If you click here, you can add an outline to your box. Or we can click here and we can change the color of our box. And we'll just turn it off and turn it on so we can see what this looks like. And there we go. Now we have that bright blue background. So in order to change the text colors, we can just go in here and modify them. And there we go. Change the secondary text color, and we'll just turn it off and on again so it brings it back up. And it's nice because when you're working on these, it will actually modify them on the fly, so you can actually physically see the changes happening while you're working on it. That makes it a lot easier to do these. So you just set them so they're active for a really long period of time. In this case, I think they're active for 25 seconds by default. So that gives you a pretty decent amount of time to mess around with the settings. And now I'm gonna adjust that background color again a little bit, and we'll start it again. And there we go, that looks pretty good. I don't really like my logo with that color, but it is what it is. Let's see if maybe raising the size of our logo helps it out a little bit. Well, it makes the logo bigger, but it doesn't really help us. So we're gonna change the image on that. We're gonna use the black text, and we're gonna click OK. And there we go. You can see when I selected the one again, it automatically switches it back to the white one. So I'm gonna drag that off, and then I'm gonna choose another one, click OK, and then I'm gonna click here again, and now it's updated. And you'll find that that's not as intuitive as you think, so you're gonna have to play around with it to update these. They're a little bit of a pain. And then of course this will put your outline in there. This right here is cool. I can round off the corners of my lower thirds. I can add an outline to my lower third. Let's turn this off and turn it on again. Right here, if I put my outline on my lower third, then I can adjust the width of the outline. Right now it's 4. I can adjust it up or down to whatever I think looks cool. This right here is a shadow box. So if I want to add shadows to the text on my lower thirds, this is where we do it. And you can see it's pretty subtle, but you can change the size of this as well by adjusting the numbers up here. Pretty cool stuff. It definitely does help make it more them out, or bring them closer together, however you want it. Now this right here changes the look of your lower third, and we'll get to that in a second. Right here, this will adjust the size of the actual lower thirds box, and this adjusts the margin for where it is located on the screen. You can also adjust the ratio.
Не винаги е любима тема. Това е темата в християнския свят. Често се задават въпроси, защо трябва да даряваме. Предпочитаме да даваме пари за различни каузи. Но нека да ви дам кауза. Кауза, за която наистина се заслужава даването. Кауза, която има вечна стойност. Тук в Християнски център Бургас наш основен приоритет е основаването на църкви и достигането на хора чрез мисии и походите на чудесата. Изграждат църкви и